Hello, everyone. I'm Michiko Hayashi from nonprofit organization Emoto Peace Project in Tokyo, Japan. Today, I am very happy to introduce you Mr. Claudiu Murgan from Canada. Hi, Claudiu.
Hi, Michiko. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you so much for coming here on YouTube channel of Emoto Peace Project. I'm so happy that we got connected through your podcast, through your books, and I would like to introduce you a little bit to audience, okay?
Thank you.
Claudiu Murgan is enthralled by human consciousness and the notion of our place in the enormous wheels of the multiverse. His settings as science fiction, fantasy, or eco-fiction focus on describing the beauty of Mother Nature, who demands action from all of us. Claudiu's experience in various industries, such as IT, renewable energies, real estate, and finance, helped him create complex, realistic characters that bring forward meaningful messages. Claudiu is the author of 3 science fiction fantasy novels, The Decadence of Our Souls, Water Entanglement, and Crystal Cloud. The last 2 are on the subject of water. His short stories were published in the USA, Canada, Italy, and Romania. Wonderful. So Claudiu, thank you so much. So thrilled to hear about your books and your experiences. So please talk to us about your experience and how you started to write your books and what they are.
Yes, thank you. I started writing when I was 11 years old, but just short stories and subjects based on the experience I had at that time, which was pretty much limited. But I evolved, I gathered more experience, life experience. I became a parent, like a father. So all that accumulation, both at personal and business level, provided me with the tools to create these characters, to imagine new environments, new societies, which could sooner rather than later can become realities. And again, I had an idea at 18 years old, what will happen if all souls will be called by God and we all go to, let's call, heaven. What will happen to earth? What will be left behind? So I wrote The Decadence of Our Souls, where you have a pristine society, or a small society, a village made of elephants and children. And then you have the decadent society, which doesn't know anything but sex, drugs, music, entertainment, instant gratification. They don't believe in divinity, in God, in any superior force. So when you have these 2 contradicting environments, something has to happen. And one of the characters from these 2 societies will have to change. Either the decadent society will change, or the other one, the pure society, will change. So I put on paper the struggle between the good and the bad, and what will happen in the end. And at the end of that process, I realized that I have to write something close to our heart, or close to our reality, which was about environment, nature, and water. And I played with and in water like most of my life, like everyone else. Water surrounds us, the humidity of the air, the water in our bodies. And I don't have to provide any percentages, because we all know about that, and the viewers of your channel are aware of what's going on. And something, one of your statements from our interview stayed with me. You said that Dr. Emoto thought that water is God, and in fact that he was right, and I'm going to tell you why. There is a Hindu story about a guru who had a number of devotees, and at one point he tried to assess their knowledge, to assess what they learn from him and how they apply the knowledge. And he told them to go and hide from God. And they all go in different directions, and they went into a cave. Some of them went under a rock. Some of them in a closet. And one day they came back and reported, saying, I hide from God in this location or that location. Only one devotee came back, and she said, it was a she, what, Guruji, I wasn't able to hide from God anywhere I want. God was with me, because God, I realize, is within me. And the same with water. Doesn't matter where we go. Again, it's in the air we breathe, is permanently with us, within us. So that's why water is, in a way, a different form of, a different aspect of God. And that stayed with me, and I wanted to share that story with you.
Thank you. That's so beautiful. Yeah, because within us, there's God. We are sparkles of God. And within us, water. I mean, we are really actually water, we ourselves. And water has memory from ancient times, from the time of creation of this earth. So
yes.
Yeah.
And going back to Dr. Emoto's research, I was inspired and impressed with what he discovered. And I said, what if I take water and I make it into a vivid character, and a character which is alive in my books? Water will awake, water will remember, and she will, punish us for our misdeeds.
Right.
So I took the water, I turned water, and using quantum physics processes and ideas, I realized that if I awaken water in one part of the world with specific characteristics, she will awaken right away, or with a little time delay, in a different part of the world. And people will question themselves why water is behaving like this, why water is becoming acid right now, because it used to be our friend, it used to be to feed us, wet our or irrigate our fields, give us life. So why suddenly this change in the molecular structure of water? And we have to stay away. We have to be careful around water these days. So then they realize that, again, people in my in the society I created in my books, that they have to reassess their behavior vis-a-vis nature, vis-a-vis water. And I wanted to, at the same time, give water the aspect of healing. So I took water and I created a medical approach where a crystal embedded into our cornea will have water dropped onto it, and it will filter, and it will reconnect with the memory of water. So the water's memory will come forward through another one of God's creation, which are crystals, billions of years in creation, in forming. And the memory of water will come forward through this process of filtering, and it will connect to our pineal gland, realizing who we are as human beings, as you said, as God, the sparkle of God. So I took this idea and I wrote Water Entanglement, and from there I expanded into Crystal Cloud, where indeed people wanted to have this crystal embedded into their bodies, because again, they wanted to increase pleasure, they wanted to increase instant gratification. In the end, just to realize that their pineal gland becomes an antenna to the divine, right, which will download the right messages for them to awaken.
That, I mean, you just said everything perfect, because see, most of the people don't realize that water has memory, and also we are just so much memory. And if we awaken water, that means water will awaken us. And to do that, we have to be very respectful to water, because now it's not, water is not functioning well because of us, our behavior, our way of thinking, our ego. So we just have to learn to be humble once again, appreciate water, so that water will give us everything we need. And
Yes.
what you just shared is just so beautiful. So you wrote it, it's in your book?
Yes, all this story, I mean, it's a neurosurgeon who takes this concept to the next level in my book. And she starts healing people. Those who are in deep comas are coming back with higher neural consciousness and activity. Different features are being awakened into us, like telepathy and easier connectivity to the divine. And why is called crystal cloud? Because I create a mesh around the world made out of the shungite crystal, which is the best crystal which can not cure but clean water. The cleans water.
Shungite, right? Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I create all this cloud, a mesh of various small shungite devices, and people can communicate telepathically through that type of connectivity. And I started writing a third novel, which is pretty much a diary of the same characters from Water Entanglement and Crystal Cloud. And I don't know yet which direction I'm going to take water. Maybe people will go to Mars and they will take samples of water there with them. We'll see. I haven't decided yet.
Oh, that would be very interesting. Yeah, water. I remember that Dr. Emoto used to say that when water is really cannot put up with people's emotions or negative deed, the water becomes very angry. The earth, that means the earth becomes very angry. And that's why we have earthquakes and also a tsunami. It's all water, he said. So do not make water angry. And I thought it was really, at that time, I thought it was really funny or interesting because his name is Emoto. Emoto is in Japanese, it's right, like water, the source of water. And he was saying, don't make me upset because I'm the source of water. It was very funny. But it's true that people forgot, we all forgot that water is the conductor of the communication of divinity or God in us. And how can we remember it? If we become very pure, then we always remember that water is always the guiding us to be connected with God, yes, with divinity.
Yes, and in water entanglement, water becomes very mad and vengeful. So in my book, she brings down the airplanes in which CEOs of oil and gas companies are flying into just to punish them for what they are doing.
Oh, wow. Which book is it? Which one is it?
Entanglement, the first one.
Oh, Entanglement. Okay, that blue one. Yeah. Oh,
so,
wonderful.
Tornadoes are coming up, or out of the blue, the water creates tornadoes just to punish these guys, and then it vanishes. So the intelligence of water is very present in especially in water entanglement. In Crystal Cloud, people already, or the world entirely realize what's going on, and they step back, they scale back on the destruction and the pollution. And water also is being a little bit tame and just watching us what our next steps are, but is not backing off completely. So
I see.
To watch out.
So now you're writing another book right now, or?
Yes, it's supposed to be a trilogy, and as I said, I started it, but with all these events, my mind wasn't quite into writing. I wrote short stories for a couple of anthologies, but I want to get back and continue the third book. I don't know exactly at this point what the title will be. But as I mentioned, I wrote it. I'm going to write it in the form of a diary with the main character, which is a limnologist, and she witnessed everything that happened in the last, let's say, 60 years on Earth. The timing in my book is 2055, and then goes up to, I think, 2085. But certain things in the society I created are happening these days, which is kind of troubling. I was quite, positive in my writing that the negative aspect of that society will happen much longer in the future, but looks like we are facing them in our lifetime.
Right now, I think we're facing the hardest time when we talk, like we have 4 seasons here in Japan or in Canada also, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And we are at the end of winter, the coldest time, the hardest time. After this, I know, and I do have the faith that we will be going into the beautiful spring. The world will be a beautiful place. And if everyone, or maybe 10% of the whole world, puts our consciousness into that direction, then with collectively, our collective consciousness becomes very powerful, and that really changes everything. When 7,000 people meditate for peace on earth, that will stop all the terrorist actions, the bad actions. Also, I mean, they don't know what's happening, but they just don't feel like using the guns or anything. And so that we are really creating peace on earth just by thinking something positive and doing something good for other people. And so how can people buy your book or find your book?
They can go to my website, claudiumurgan.com. They can go to Amazon version of their countries, in this particular case, Japan. I'm not sure if Amazon has a Japanese version. They might have one. They can download for free the copy of my first book, The Decadence of Our Souls, if they register. And they also can listen to the audio versions on audible.com. I think it's free with, they come free with a subscription. And yes, I mean, I have my podcast on YouTube, Spiritually Inspired, where I interview a lot of awakened people and shamans and energy healers and people who are doing great things like yourself. Because we all have to be aware of the good things that are happening around us.
Yeah, it's so nice that we are being connected with all these beautiful people to change the world for the better place, and very spiritually. Or sometimes I'm sure that you bring people who are so connected with science also, maybe. I mean, we need all the different people who have a beautiful mind, who are creating, doing something wonderful for the world, for all people, and for all for nature, for this earth. So,
yes, and in order to bring even more exposure to what water represents in our life, I'm working right now on an anthology called Love Letters to Water. And you graciously offered to contribute. And at this point, there are authors or contributors from 14 countries, pretty much from all continents. And I hope that through poems and stories and fiction and non-fiction, people will resonate with the water within and without, and will be more conscious when using water or being around water in nature.
Oh, wonderful. Can't wait until your book is done again.
Yes, yeah, I mean, it's very exciting to, communicate with all these authors and see their reaction and their availability, to write something, to take out of their busy schedule and either provide a piece of like a story which wasn't published, or they're gonna write something new for the anthology.
Mhm.
It's quite moving. And I mentioned from the beginning when I contacted them that the proceeds will be donated to one or two projects which are related to water, clean water in the Amazon, or for educating people to know more about water.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much, Claudiu. And I would like to have you back when the next book is ready and
Thank you
talk
very much
about it.
for having me. All the
Yeah,
best.
well, so once again, his Claudiu's website is Claudiu Murgan, as you can see right back here, .com. So please visit Claudiu's website. And if you're interested in his books, download or buy them for him and enjoy. Well,
Thank you very
Claudiu,
much.
thank you so much for coming on. And you have a wonderful, happy Monday there and beautiful week.
Thank you. The same.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.